You're watching the FirearmsChannel.com.
Hi, I'm Max Martin for the FirearmsChannel.com here at the 2010 Border Security Expo. I want to share with you some highlights of a conversation that I had with Sheriff Joe Arpaio of Maricopa County, America's toughest sheriff. I found this guy to be quirky, confident, and has boundless energy for a guy of 78 years old. Can you believe it? Here's what I mean. Sheriff Joe, what would you do to stop the illegal immigration into the United States?
What would I do if I was president of the United States? I think first thing I would do is anybody coming across the border goes directly to jail. Number two, what we're doing here in Arizona, even though people say it's impossible to do, including politicians, is slowly cause the illegals to leave town.
We're at the epicenter of the immigration issue, the new law, SB 1070. How will that affect what you do as sheriff?
It doesn't affect us much because we've been enforcing two other state laws and federal laws anyway. So it's not going to change anything what we've been doing, but it sort of forces police officers now to get involved in the illegal immigration problem by at least asking where they're from, and if they have enough evidence or probable cause that the person is here illegally, now they will have the option of arresting those people under a state law. Any law that helps us do the job, I'm for. Hey, I'm the guy that enforces the laws. I don't care. You put the law in the book, we're going to enforce it. I'm an equal opportunity guy. I lock up everybody.
Recently, a rancher at the border was shot. We presume it was an illegal alien who went back into Mexico. There was a lot of outrage from the Arizonans. And yet, right now you have 95 illegal aliens in your jail who are convicted of murder. Charged with murder. Where's the outrage?
Well, that's a good question. Where is the outrage? Why all is a shame what happened to the rancher? Why all this political outrage? What about the outrage of people here in Maricopa County being killed? A lot of violence occurring because of illegal immigration. Where's the outrage from the politicians and the bureaucrats?
Why do you suppose you don't get the credit you deserve, the thank you? You report to the voters, and yet from a media standpoint there doesn't seem to be any acknowledgement of the good work that you do for Maricopa County.
Well, the media doesn't like me, but it's a love-hate relationship. Anytime I say I'm going to have a press conference, whether it's cooking hot dogs, usually they'll show up, thinking maybe I'll choke on the hot dog. So no, but that's the way it is. You know, but the people know what I'm doing because I average 2 speeches a day, 18 years. I go to the people. You don't always have to believe what you see on television.
Now, you're the sheriff right now. You may be running for governor. What do you think about the amnesty issue?
I'm against amnesty. My mother and father came here legally. We have millions of people across our world will do anything to get into the United States and become a U.S. citizen. They wait for years. It costs a lot of money. And it's a fairness issue because then if you come across that border illegally, you're going to be rewarded. It's a fairness issue, too, the way I look at it. So if you're going to make them citizens, bring everybody in from around the world and make them citizens.
Ronald Reagan said, you know, if we're not going to defend our borders, why have a country of borders? We should have borders, shouldn't we?
Everybody has borders. You ever go overseas, you know, and cross borders from one European country to the other? Everybody has borders. And the excuse of not enforcing a law at the border, that doesn't hold. I mean, you know, we got terrorists we're worried about. We're spending billions of dollars on all this intelligence and everything else. Why aren't we concerned about the border? You think they can't come across the border? If you ever wanted a reason, Washington ever needed a reason, that could be the biggest reason you could say. Terrorism coming across the border in our country. What else do you need, regardless of the illegal immigration and the drugs? But no one talks about that. Wonder why.
One more question. What do you have there holstered? I'm sure it has a lot of history and there are a lot of stories associated. How long have you had it?
Well, I don't know. This is about 30. I got a 357. But this is the one I had in Turkey. It's a old-fashioned Smith & Wesson, which is, you know, here you're shooting dope peddlers with a little .38. By the way, you know Smith & Wesson is Springfield. Of course, basketball, too. I was hoping the president would invite me to discuss this matter at the Rose Garden. He did invite the Cambridge police sergeant that arrested the professor, and he invited them to have a little wine and discuss the racial implications. Okay, why come he doesn't invite me? I mean, he's a good basketball guy. I'm from Massachusetts. I played basketball. I like to throw a few hoops. We could get a lot done over a glass of wine and the hoops. But they're not going to call me. I'm like a rabble-rouser. I'm like poison.
You're watching the firearmschannel.com.